So students, now we are going to the next digestive gland. It's called pancreas. Pancreas, it has two big groups of functions. It provides exocrine function and endocrine function. It's a mixed gland. And it provides exocrine function. It produces digestive enzymes such as trypsinogen peptidases, which provide breakdown of proteins. Also, it provides synthesis of amylase, which provides breakdown of carbohydrates. And also, it provides synthesis of lipase, which is enzyme providing a breakdown of lipids. And also it produces deoxyribonuclease and ribonuclease, which provide breakdown of DNA and RNA. And all those enzymes are produced by exocrine part of the pancreas. Those enzymes are released from the pancreas in the cavity of duodenum, where they meet the food and they provide this stage of digestion. Food, particularly digested food, comes here from the stomach, and here enzymes they provide breakdown digestion of the food. And also bile, which is produced by liver, is released here. Bile contains bile acids, which which participate in the breakdown of lipids. And also pancreas provides endocrine function. It produces hormones. And hormones are bioactive substances which are released in the bloodstream, and they regulate some vital functions of our organism. And ratio of exocrine and endocrine parts of pancreas it's 98-92%. It's exocrine part, and from 1 to 2% it's endocrine part. But both functions are very important, and they provide some essential functions of the pancreas and of the endocrine and digestive systems. Because pancreas is mixed gland and it's involved in the functioning of digestive system, its exocrine part and endocrine part is involved in the functioning of endocrine system. And different parts of pancreas, different structures of pancreas provide different functions. So we have exocrine part of the pancreas and endocrine part of the pancreas. Exocrine part of the pancreas is formed by pancreatic acini, secretory units, and ducts, which collect secretory products by the acini, and they release it to the cavity of duodenum. So duct collects enzymes which are produced by the acini and release them in the cavity of duodenum. And also there is endocrine part. It's formed by islets of Langerhans. Here we can see those islets. And islets are composed of endocrine cells. They produce hormones and they release them into the blood, into blood capillaries which are located between endocrine cells. And let's look at the structure of pancreas. So here we can see secretory units of pancreas or pancreatic acini, and between them we have islets of Langerhans. Acini, they are structural and functional units of exocrine part of pancreas, and islets of Langerhans, they are structural and functional unit of endocrine part of pancreas. And exocrine secretory units, they also have ducts. Here we can see branched duct system which collects enzymes which are produced by the pancreatic cells. All those enzymes are coming to the ducts and are released to the cavity of duodenum. And endocrine part, islets of Langerhans, they don't have ducts because they release hormones to the bloodstream. Also, pancreas, it has two parts, structural and functional. Here we can see epithelial part of pancreas. Its main specific part of pancreas, we call it parenchyma. And also pancreas has stroma. There is connective tissue which surrounds groups of acini and islets of Langerhans. And it forms lobules, here we can see, and there is intralobular connective tissue which forms those lobules. And between the lobules, we have septa and we have capsule. There are septa which separate neighboring lobules and connective tissue capsule which covers entire gland. So here we can see common structure of the pancreas. It has structure of exocrine gland, typical structure, but there are some features. There are inclusions of endocrine cells which form islets of Langerhans. So, according to anatomy and microanatomy, pancreas, it has capsule, it has septa, and which contain interlobular ducts, and also there are lobules. There are serosecretory units, and also there are ducts. Here, ducts are present. So, according to histology and microanatomy, pancreas is compound acinar serous gland. Here we can see this structure. And here we can see appearance of pancreas. It's composed of lobules. Here we can see the lobules, and they are separated by septa. And inside the pancreas, we have common pancreatic duct and its branches which enter in all the lobules. Here we can see appearance of pancreas, and there are lobules and septa between them. Here we can see microscopic slide of the pancreas. So here we can see lobules and interlobular connective tissue which separates them. Here we can see interlobular connective tissue, it's blood vessel, and also interlobular connective tissue may contains ducts which collect secretory products from the lobules. And also there is islet of Langerhans. It's inclusion of endocrine part of pancreas between exocrine part. And here we can see lobules of pancreas and interlobular connective tissue, and lobules, they are composed of secretory units. So let's begin from the exocrine part of the pancreas, and it's called acinus. Here we can see acinus of pancreas. It's composed of serous secretory cells. They are called pancreatocytes or pancreatic secretory cells. And also we have duct. Also it's intercalated like duct of salivary glands. So intercalated duct is formed by simple cuboid epithelium, and cells of pancreas, pancreatic acinar cells, which form acinar secretory unit or secretory portion. It's called acinus. So there is secretory unit and excretory duct. And this excretory duct, it's called intercalated, and sometimes it's intercalated inside the secretory unit. It's a specific feature of pancreas. This duct enters in the secretory unit. And it's called intercalated because it's intercalated usually in the secretory unit. And some cells of this intercalated duct, which are located inside the secretory unit, they are called centroacinar cells because they are located in the center of the acinus. So there are centroacinar cells. Usually they are the stem cells which provide regeneration. Also we have here basal membrane because those cells are epithelial cells, and also we have connective tissue which surrounds the secretory unit. And here we can see secretory unit. They are completely serous because cells of this unit, they produce proteins and they have specific structure characteristic for serous cells. They are specialized in the synthesis of proteins, and all enzymes produced by pancreas, they are proteins. And also we have here intercalated duct, which is formed by cells, epithelial cells, and some cells enter inside the acinus. They are called centroacinar cells. And it's specific feature of pancreas. Here we can see centroacinar cells. There are acinar cells, they form acini, and there are centroacinar cells inside the acinus. And acinar pancreatic cell or pancreatocyte, it has typical structure of serocyte. It has triangular or pyramidal shape. Here we can see it. And it has two zones. Basal zone, it contains rough endoplasmic reticulum, which provides synthesis of proteins, and numerous ribosomes, which are stained in the violet or blue colors. They are basophilic in their staining. They result in the blue or violet stain of the basal pole of acinar pancreatic cell. Here we can see this staining. That's why basal parts of the cells, they are blue or violet. This zone is called homogenic zone. It contains rough endoplasmic reticulum and it provides protein synthesis. After the protein synthesis in the basal part of the cell, proteins are carried to the apical pole, to the Golgi apparatus, and after that to the apical pole, where thymogenic granules are formed. There are secretory granules which contain secretory products, inactive enzymes, and they are stained into the red or pink shades, and that's why these granules are oxyphilic or eosinophilic. And this zone, it contains inactive enzymes, and that's why this zone is called thymogenic pole or thymogenic part or thymogenic zone. Those granules, it's thymogen inactive enzymes. And enzymes are inactive because if they will be activated, they may cause self-digestion of the pancreatic cells, which takes place in pancreatitis, uh, inflammation of pancreas. But usually those enzymes are activated only in the lumen of duodenum. It's the place of activation of enzymes of pancreatic cell. And they are released from the cell, and in inactive condition they are going to the lumen of duodenum. And there they meet food and they provide digestion. And here you can see basal pole, it's violet in shade, and also you can see numerous pink granules. There are secretory vesicles full with thymogen. So it's serous acinus, and we can see appearance of this serous acinus. And here we can see violet outer parts of serous acini because there are nuclei and rough endoplasmic reticulum, and pink central parts because there are granules with thymogen. And excretory ducts of pancreas, they collect enzymes from secretory units. First and the smallest one, it's intercalated duct. It's intercalated in the secretory unit, and here we can see it. And after the intercalated ducts, they are continued by intralobular ducts. There are interacinar ducts which are branched into intercalated ducts. So some intercalated ducts, they form interacinar duct which collects secretory components from some acini, and they form intralobular ducts which are located inside the lobules. So intercalated ducts, they form interacinar ducts, and the bigger there are intralobular ducts. And intralobular ducts, they excite from the lobules, and they are called interlobular ducts, which are between the lobules, and they form common duct of pancreas, interlobular ducts, and common duct, which is opened into the duodenum. And here we can see drawing of histological slide. There are acini. Here we can see them. Their basal poles are homogenic. They contain rough endoplasmic reticulum and nuclei, and they are violet in shade. And apical poles of the cells, they contain granules with thymogen, and those granules are pink in their staining, and that's why central parts of the acini also are pink. Also, we can distinguish here some ducts, intralobular ducts inside the lobules. Their epithelium is simple, and please note that pancreas and also liver, they are glands of endodermal origin, so their ducts always are lined with simple epithelium. Salivary glands, they have stratified epithelium in some ducts, especially in big ducts, and it's characteristic for the glands which have ectodermal origin. But those glands which derive from endoderm, they also they always have simple epithelium in the ducts. The smallest ducts they have cuboid epithelium, and bigger ducts they have columnar epithelium. So inside the lobules we have intralobular ducts which are lined with simple cuboid or usually columnar epithelium, and between the lobules we have interlobular ducts. They are lined with simple columnar epithelium. And also we have here interlobular connective tissue or septa, which separates neighboring lobules. And inside the lobules we have intralobular connective tissue, which is stroma of the pancreas. And also here we can find central acinar cells in some acini, and also we have here islets of Langerhans. We can see them here, which are endocrine part of the pancreas. So here we can see system of excretory ducts of pancreas. We have intercalated interacinar intralobular ducts, which are located inside the lobules, and there are interlobular ducts which collect secretory products from some lobules, which are located between the lobules, and they form common duct, which collects all enzymes from pancreas, and it's opened in the duodenum. And here we can see common duct, and it collects all secretory products from pancreas. And now we are going to the endocrine part of pancreas. It's islet of Langerhans. Here we can see islet of Langerhans. It contains secretory endocrine cells. Here we can see them here and here, and they haven't own duct because they provide endocrine type of secretion. They release their secretory products. They produce hormones which are released in the blood. Here we can see blood vessels and endocrine cells. They release their products in the blood. And blood capillaries are of fenestrated type. They have high permeability. Here we can see endocrine cells. Also there are capillaries, fenestrated capillaries, and also there is connective tissue which fills the spaces between the cells. And we can find here some cells are acidophilic. They are pink in their staining. Also we have here basophilic cells and pale cells which aren't well stained. Acidophilic cells or A cells or alpha cells, they produce glucagon, which increases blood sugar glucose level, and B cells, they are the most known cells of pancreas. They are basophilic B cells or beta cells. Those cells produce insulin, the main and the most known hormone of pancreas, which decreases glucose or sugar level in blood. And here we can find pink cells and basophilic cells, and pale cells are cells of minor types. Here we can see islet of Langerhans. There is vascular stroma, there are blood vessels, capillaries inside the islet, and there are numerous cells, and it's surrounded by the pancreatic acini, which provide exocrine function. Here we can see pancreatic acini, and between them we can find here islets of Langerhans. We can find them here, and they provide endocrine function of pancreas. Here we can see islet of Langerhans, and it's surrounded with pancreatic acini. And islets of Langerhans, they contain B cells. They are most numerous, and the most important, they produce insulin. Also there are A cells which produce glucagon. Also minor cells, D cells and PP, D1, EC cells, they produce some other hormones such as somatostatin, pancreatic polypeptide, serotonin, and others. Here we can see islet of Langerhans, acidophilic, also basophilic cells, and some other cells which are pale. And pancreatic acini are present here. They are central thymogenic zones, which are pink, and peripheral basophilic zones, which are violet or blue in shade. And these cells, they produce insulin. It decreases blood glucose level, and amount of those cells is about 70%. A cells or alpha cells, they produce uh, glucagon. It decreases blood glucose level. Somatostatin is produced by D cells. It increases production of insulin and glucagon. It regulates their production of these hormones. And also PP cells, they produce pancreatic polypeptide. D1 cells, they produce vasointestinal peptide. EC cells, secretin, motilin. Those minor cells, they regulate functions of the organs of gastrointestinal tract, and especially neighboring organs and tissues. So those cells also, they are part of enteroendocrine or enteroendocrine pancreatic system, and it's represented by islets of Langerhans inside the pancreas. So here we can see pancreas. Here we have islet of Langerhans, also exocrine secretory units, and they are surrounded with interlobular connective tissue stroma. And here we can see secretory units. They are neighboring structures. They are islets of Langerhans. Secretory units are opened in the ducts. It's the duct system of pancreas. Also, there is stroma of lobules which surrounds the lobules, and between the lobules we have septa, and entire gland is covered with connective tissue capsule. So it's general structure of pancreas.